Goblin.
Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Karen.
And this is the Walking Dead episode 26.
26.
Yeah.
Pretty.
That sounds like rah, rah, rah.
Yeah, actually, I like listening to it on the internet. I like it better. Yes.
What do you think?
Yes, we will.
Okay,
Goblin. Goblin.
yeah. Before we get on that, I wanted to mention that, I don't know if you remember last week I was talking about the Studio Adventure zombie book called Kings of Zombie Apocalypse. Well, I got it on my iPad through Kindle and I read the whole thing. It's 384 pages.
And you go on a lot of different
Oh, yeah, there's 75 different endings.
And did you try out endings?
Yeah, you have to. I read the whole thing. I read
Oh,
all
you
the
did every single ending.
Yeah.
Oh.
I went, like, here's what I do. I go down one path until I get in, and I just go back to the very last step and take the other choice.
See?
It's kind of like a tree, you know?
Yeah.
And then once I exhausted all possibilities, I go back one choice down a tree further and go off another branch and follow right into that, you know? And anyways, it was, I hated it.
I loved it.
It was cool. At first, actually, when I started reading it, it seemed almost like fanfic. But then I got so into it. The reason I say that is because it's written in a really informal style, and it's very conversational and it's very spare, but it's really engaging. And he uses a lot of culture references to try to kind of orient you about what exactly is going on. And instead of describing sometimes, I'll just pull up some pop culture reference, and it works so well because it's a zombie book and it's a pop culture. You know, it's
Yeah.
just so fun. I knew every one of them. Anyways, I really love it. And it really did make me feel like I was in the middle of zombie apocalypse.
Did you have a favorite ending?
Well, you think, you know, I don't want to give too much away. So I'll just say, there's one part where you kind of get the role. There's one part where you actually get the role. And from that point on, there's no good endings.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So it was kind of bittersweet.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's really there's like 1,000 different scenarios with zombies, you know, in the zoo and on the Statue of Liberty. It's in New York, so Yankee Stadium, at a school, there's all kinds of
At
stuff.
Yankee Stadium? That's great.
Yeah.
Does that lend itself well to that?
Yeah, totally, because I wonder about that. And instead of saying go to page whatever, just click here and links.
Yeah, right. I would think it would be perfect for a So now I have to see like that and I have to get this book.
Well, you can just buy the book and print if you want.
Oh,
Yeah.
so then I go to page XYZ something?
Yeah.
Or I could just go to page 30.
Anyway, I wrote to the author Max Brollier, and he's going to come on next episode and talk about this.
Sweet. Oh, that's great.
And I haven't asked him this yet, but we have our top 5B. Kind of like you're suggesting top 5 favorite zombie deaths, it would be top 5 favorite ways of killing or seeing zombie die.
Yeah,
Just in general. Because he's good at that. He's gone through several of them. Maybe some of his favorites are.
I think that sounds great. What's his name?
Max Brollier, B-R-A-L-L-I-E-R.
And he lives in San Diego?
No, he's in New York.
Oh,
so
he's
he'll
in
check
Great.
it out. We haven't quite gotten the details yet, so hopefully he'll be nice.
Sweet.
Which means that you guys don't have any homework for next time for once. You just listen.
That's amazing that we don't have anymore.
Well, you have to read the book.
Well, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. You don't have to read the book. That's another thing. Also, before I just wanted to mention, I put up on our website this trailer for this video game coming out, The Island.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's just catching on like wildfire all over the net. That trailer.
It's
everywhere.
gorgeous.
Yeah. It's if you haven't seen it, go on our website. Check it out. It's just heartbreaking.
It is, and the music is beautiful.
Yeah, it totally sounds like a
Yeah, absolutely. So I noticed that on YouTube, somebody put it together in my order. Yeah, I want to go back and watch it.
This trailer is backwards, so you'll see it just works out that way to watch it.
It's backwards and forwards, though.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So
Think about it. It's something you watch just like 3 minutes and you have this feeling of, oh my god, after. But I really think that probably somebody can put that together in the game. It's just going to be a zombie game. Really.
Yeah.
If this game could capture any of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
beautiful and heartbreaking, and yeah, it doesn't lend itself well to
Yeah, because you watch this trailer and it's like amazing, and then you go read the game description. It's like several levels of carnage, and you can use these different weapons, not just like the full game stuff.
Yeah, it'd be cool if there was a game though. Whatever that's what it is. It'd be cool if there was a game that where you became emotionally invested in the characters.
Yeah.
You really felt for them. You really rooted for them and wanted them to succeed, and kind of nice, isn't it?
Well, there are, yeah, and I'm going to mention I'm going to mention this in our news section next, the Telltale Walking Dead game. We'll do more like that.
Nice.
So you'll see me that. But on today's show, we'll just talk about the news about Walking Dead. We'll talk about Suspiria, which some of you may watch, some might just watch for a few minutes. We'll do Game of Thrones. We'll get into our top 5 this week. I'm excited about our top 5 favorite podcasts.
Me too.
We'll do a little This Week in Zombies with Karen, and then we'll wrap it.
Sounds good.
Okay, this time I thought we start with news about Walking Dead.
There's a lot this week.
There's a lot. The first item is not actually about Walking Dead. Yeah, so I'll say that one. I was looking for some information about Max Brollier, and so when I typed in Choose Your Zombie, I found this website called it's an interactive zombie movie called The Outbreak, What We Do, and it's done. It's really low budget, but it's going to be better. It's for fun. But it's fun. You go through and watch a little like 3-minute segment, and then you get 2 choices on screen. Save it or run whatever, and click one and video.
That's so cool.
It's pretty cool. And it's really you can go through all the choices in like I don't know half an hour or something.
Wow, that's great.
So check it out. It's at survivetheoutbreak.com. It's fun.
And if anybody plays it, let us know what you think.
Yeah. Okay, next, coming up is finally the DVD and Blu-ray release of Walking Dead. It's on March 8th, for before next episode. Looks like there's some cool behind the scenes features, extra footage, featurettes, making of stuff, commentary, makeup tips, on makeup tips.
I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, it's an invention panel with producers. So
That must be
it could be, yeah, they don't but you might hear me back on that. And it's $20 for the DVD on Amazon, which is 50% off. Regular price on Blu-rays, 28.
And you get 6 episodes and all those features.
Next, last weekend they had the ACE Cable Ace Awards, Ace Eddie Awards. These honor excellence in film and television editing. And The Walking Dead editor Hunter V got the award for best edited 1-hour series for commercial television, which is pretty cool.
For which one?
For the season 1 pilot.
That was good.
Yeah, that was like the best one. I
Yeah.
think. He won over some pretty heavy competition, Friday Night Lights, Glee, and AMC's on Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So good job.
Good job, well done.
Another awards thing, the Saturn Awards are coming up this summer. Their Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films do the Saturn Awards every year, I guess. And
Suspiria has one, by the way.
oh, it has a Saturn Awards?
Yeah,
Yeah. And this year it was the 37th annual, and Walking Dead got most nominations in the TV category, 6 nominations.
Is it good?
That's cool.
Has Lost ever win?
Well, I don't know if they won, but they have the second most, they have 5
I'll bet.
nominations. Along with Fringe and True Blood and Dexter are also on there. I don't know why Dexter, I guess you say 4, yeah, on Friday, March 4th, beginning at 8 Central, AMC's airing all 6 episodes of Walking Dead. Back.
Is it Walking Dead on Friday?
Yeah, starting at 8. Wow, that's gonna get late.
Set your DVR.
No, I say watch live.
We're going to take my copy and stay watch. I like the series whole thing.
I know, yeah.
I mean, it's 6 episodes, so we can
Yeah.
go on.
Maybe when the show's completely done, we'll watch like Jane
Yeah, exactly. Or right before last season, final season, we'll do it.
Up to that point,
Yeah,
yeah.
very cool.
Okay, couple things. The action figures I mentioned last time, the Tom Farm versions. Once I read that the zombies have removable limbs. For some reason, the humans don't like the show, don't, and I think they should, but whatever.
You think there's zombies have removable limbs in the show also?
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's a zombie. And then they're off.
You're off a little bit human. You're right. When you're playing with your doll, you definitely be able to do that. Okay, these action figures, dolls.
Action figures.
I once asked my friend's 5-year-old son what the difference was between a doll and an action figure. And it took him like 5 minutes, and he was real quiet, and finally he said, "Dolls are soft." Yeah. Okay. That's the difference.
No, you alone. Okay, finally, last week I mentioned there was a rumor that Telltale is doing a Walking Dead game, and they made it official. They're doing a game, and it's multi-platform episodic story-focused game. Other episodic Telltale games are Sam Max and When You Like Tales and Beyond.
Really nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play a thing by one of the Telltale employees for the game.
Well, anybody plays the game knows how Walking Dead is best character and story. And we have context in Walking Dead. Knows how really about characters when the world goes out. And that is sort of thing you're facing at the moment in the Walking Dead game. Like I said, familiar with knows the characters and decisions you have to make. The muscles that you keep humanity when many people lost. First side, look at this. Well, that's okay. We have exciting things in store for the gameplay from the table. For those who know sort of games that we've traditionally made, knows who play zombie games and know that sort of game experience, like we're gonna have crafting something unique today. Zombie stories, like I think it's kind of confluence of the horror element and any of the ever present and will not stop until it gets you, and what games allow you to do in that sort of survival scenario. Games of long history, especially in the history of Resident Evil, your PlayStation of like survival horror game genre, stable genre. The same way like horror game genre film. Zombies provide a really nice, very controlled designer for really kind of taking way. Without even though we kind of expect PC and Mac and like that's somewhere really comfortable and like we don't have to be on those platforms. But Technicon will become a lot of big plans for when you expect your own and how you play.
That sounds like it's gonna be a little different, not like action. It's necessarily more story focused.
Good.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really. The first Monkey Island, the Secret Monkey Island, that was all Lucas arts.
Yeah.
And then maybe they were sold. That game was sold to them.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I think the same guy who worked on it, Lucas, does the Telltale ones.
Right,
too.
right.
So that's, yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm totally
Yeah.
too. All right, let's move on to Suspiria.
Okay, let's do it.
Before we get started talking about this, I just want to remind everyone that the reason why I watched that was that Charlie Adlard, who draws The Walking Dead, mentioned it in our interview podcast. I'm going to play a little segment that he mentioned it in.
Thank you. We'll say yes.
No, there's some Italian zombie movies, right? Yeah, I haven't seen it. So there you go.
Okay. This is why we watched Suspiria.
Yeah, anybody wants to know.
It was Charlie Adams. Cold as you.
Now, when I started watching the movie, I actually read a little bit about it first.
Okay.
And, it's, remember last week we talked about how, actually, that's another, on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 94%.
Yes.
And,
yes, I do that.
And I read a little bit about it, and some people, I was like, oh, wow, Charlie loved this. It's got 94% Rotten Tomatoes. People say it's a classic. But I read a little bit before we even watched it. And some people said it's overacting and style over substance and all this. And so I went in, and you said the music was overpowering, too much. So I went in kind of knowing to watch for that.
Yeah.
So I don't think that stuff hit me quite as much as it would have if I hadn't read that beforehand. I was ready
Like
for it. But still, like about, I don't know, 20 minutes in, I was going, this is really bad. I have to say, about 2/3 of the way in, I found myself getting turned a little bit. I was like, I'm really into this right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then I thought the ending was a bit weak. So I ended sort of like, I don't know, I couldn't decide whether I really hated the movie or I thought it had a certain amount of genius and it was captivating.
Yeah.
Some reviews, if I had all those reviews, I just hated it. But the reviews say things like, Rev's nerve-wracking journey, Argento's like it, is distracting you, expect it. Italian prog record albums, tingling rasping score, and Argento's constantly blind camera creates almost unbearable sense of unease and suspense. And one of the most hopeless, linear needs and possibility should be tastefully beguiled and cannibalized by Suspiria's cavalry disregard for making rational sense. One of the most important horror films ever made. And this one actually, this is the one I'm closest to agreeing with. A strange combination of the art house and slaughterhouse, and maybe too violent physical cineast and too contrived physical gorehound. It's somehow Argento impressively styles both worlds offering meeting vision.
Wow, you like it way more than I did. I think that was cool, like Charlie Adler. You know, in the studio drawing zombies in England. It was cool, like I'm playing this band in Germany. Then maybe I get it. Maybe I'm missing some sort of fundamental coolness gene because I don't get it. But no, I totally didn't get it. I felt like some of the people who reviewed that it was badly acted, badly written. The music was great, but really overpowering. I mean, I like it better than the intro.
Yeah.
I actually heard the Smashing Pumpkins 2007 underscore used that as their little intro music before it came out. I guess I really wanted to love it, and I did not. I like LA, and yet I could not like this movie.
Just in case people didn't get through it, I'll just do a quick summary. It's this young girl who,
Yeah, this is interesting.
okay, this young girl is accepted to this prestigious dance academy in Germany, some European country. And when she goes there, she gets there, and she sees another girl running out there all flustered. And then she can't get in, and so she goes and stays somewhere else. And then this girl who ran through the forest goes to her friend's house, and she gets attacked by a man, and they kills both of them. And then the American girl goes back to the dance studio the next day, and gets in, and all these girls and these weird headmistresses and stuff, and they just act really weird, almost like they're in an anime film. They're overexcited, and the colors. This is the thing that the film is known for. Just use of primary colors. Everything's really red or blue or green or yellow. And the girls seem to be freaked out that something weird is going on. And it turns out that well, I won't say how it turned out. I don't know, but
Were there zombies?
sort of. At the very end, her best friend comes out of the coffin and
Reanimate.
kills her.
You call it okay. We'll give it that.
But let me say what I liked about it.
Yes.
I did feel like scared a lot of the time. I felt like it had a commanding vision. You know, I could tell that somebody had a confident vision even though it was whacked.
Yeah.
It seemed almost Twin Peaks like to me. You know, weird quirky characters doing things that if that makes sense.
I love Twin Peaks. Loved it.
It was like I found it scary. When the girl got lured into the razor wire, I thought that was awesome. I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. And that's another thing is that even though it was like kind of uncomfortable and annoying, all the colors and music and all that, it was also so different than anything I'd seen before that I was captivated by it in a way.
One of the movies is going to insert a weird German slap dance scene in the middle of the film.
Yeah.
A blind man enjoying the German slap dance. No other.
And when that blind guy's seeing that dog turned on him,
Yeah.
that I didn't expect that, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
there was that. And then when the seeing dog attacked the guy in the square.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah. The special effects. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
special effects cost more back then. I mean, it was sort of the equivalent of a spaghetti western.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny though. They had the shot. I mean, clearly the dog was just eating like they got some meat for the dog, the pulled pork and meat, and that's they showed the dog eating some meat, but they never showed the dog eating the guy.
Yeah.
And
And then there was one scene where the bat attacked the girl. And it was like a little stuff bat like pushing into her neck or something. Yeah, that didn't quite.
No, not so much.
I like that. This is my little shallow, but it was very pretty. With all the pretty girls standing in pretty positions and using interesting camera angles and stuff. You know.
You think they were pretty?
I thought they were.
They were actually
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were striking. You know, I appreciate their beauty, even though not all conventionally pretty.
Right.
I thought the plot was totally lame.
It was.
The whole witch thing, and I mean, that's one way that wasn't Lynchian. Like Lynch, you can't really figure out what's going on in this movie. It was just felt like an mystery.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
A lame
with a lot of
mystery.
house aesthetic, like a house aesthetic.
Exactly. I kept thinking that it seemed like the director and cinematographer were really going for pretty shots rather than like they were oh, pan back so we can see the girls swimming pool. That looked really cool.
Yeah.
You know, rather than what works for the scene. You know,
Yeah.
I think they really went for it as that when people really said style resistance.
Well, one thing that makes me not just go ahead and say, okay, it's a bunch of pretentious horseshit, is that it did have effect on me parts. You know, like it worked. Like I was appreciating it and I was scared by it and stuff like that. But then again, maybe if I hadn't read all these positive reviews, like I said, I would be saying this right now. But I don't know. I'm on the fence.
I watched my live day and the only one scared was my cat. Right? Loud music.
Did you see Box One?
No.
I saw Box One and thought it had a similar effect on me to this. There was a lot of I don't know, seemed like manipulative tension and the story was not balanced, right?
Right.
And it came out kind of going, did that story really warrant that level of artistry? You know, and then but someone said that, but I don't think Box One's better than this.
It's funny you should say that though, because if you look at Wikipedia, entry for Suspiria, it's a remake by David Gordon Green. It's currently in production, will start in
I know.
But I thought, no way she didn't do that. She just did Box One.
Yeah.
There's no way she's doing that. Anyway, she's like 6 months pregnant. There's no way. And so I was on the performance site and I didn't see any entry for Suspiria or remake of Suspiria. So I wonder if that's actually true.
You know, a lot of times these Hollywood deals, there's a lot of things that don't come to fruition, you know.
Yeah.
So I would be surprised considering she's doing it was kind of similar.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, well, I think Charlie Adler, if you're listening, we could watch your film, and we'll probably watch any other movie. If you're Charlie Adler, you're badass.
And I didn't hate that character. I'm glad I watched it. And I thought, here's one thing. This and Black Sheep are in like two opposite directions. You know, Black Sheep is like a goofy fun movie that's been made over pretentious art film.
Yeah.
Both could be easily featured in Mystery Science Theater 2000.
Yes, absolutely. Well said. Well said. Oh, so I stand corrected, by the way. Suspiria in 1978 was nominated for Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress for Jim Bennett, and 2002 nominated Saturn Award for Best DVD Classic Film Release. And 2001 won.
Okay. Well, also I wanted to mention that Charlie, yeah, this music actually I've been listening to this track list in the podcast today, and it's pretty cool. It sounds great when you just listen to it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
And Charlie was excited because his band, Minecraft Cosmic, had just opened for the guy Claudio Simeone used to be in Goblin. They just opened for him. Remember that? So it's kind of cool actually get your music that he was talking about.
Pretty cool. And how does it have a whole Italian cast and Italian director and not have a movie in Italian?
I know. You know what? I think some of the characters' lines were dubbed. They were because they're announcing moving differently. Some of them are speaking in other languages, but I'm not sure. In credits, there was a credit for dubbing in English. It looked like there was no credits to me, so maybe that's just, but for some reason it first came out. I don't know.
That's funny. Did you notice that right as the very first credit was you have questions? Yeah.
That's so weird. Yeah, Jenny had felt that the same way you did, by the way.
Yeah.
She was like halfway through, she had her little stuff hand, and she was like pretending to talk to me. So you know, if anybody, you know, I bet you some of our listeners loved it. I bet you some of them actually arguing about it and loved it. I bet you a lot of them or some of them watched it and were like, dude, why are you gonna watch these crappy movies?
It's all out there.
This is a little hating, makes sense.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
I think next time we're gonna take one that is, you know, like Shaun of the Dead or something.
Right, exactly.
You know, because we can't keep watching Borderline, I like anything, so you know, I want to go out for things like that, but we gotta mix it up.
Well, please recommend to us, by the way. This is what I like.
Yeah, that's cool. I want more recommendations.
Anyway, we've been everybody who loves the movie or hated it. And
We're just giving our opinion. We're just
we respect everyone's opinion. We respect all the people that respect your opinion.
you weirdos. Okay. If you loved it, please send us an email and tell us why it's so great and where Karen's in the book.
And why we suck.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a break. We're welcome to guests to stay with us. Okay, we're back in time for listener groans runs. So it's time for your emails. Karen?
Okay, first comes from Gracie Lou. I love Gracie Lou. And the subject is Little Buddy. And she says, I found the site the other month, thought I'd make one for you guys. Signed Gracie Lou. It is a picture of the zombie Gilligan from Gilligan's Island. It's the actor who plays Gilligan, all zombie out. It's the best picture ever. Go to the website.
It's up there.
Awesome. It's so great.
She titled it Zombie. I think last time we said we would not have a zombie Gilligan. Remember?
I don't remember.
You said Professor Gilligan.
The first week, the first week, great. No, exactly. There he is. There's a zombie Gilligan. He looks like he's already screaming. He does do and the zombie. You got it, Gracie. Thank you.
Next email from Megan. It's another zombie movie. Dear Jason Karen, I would like to nominate a foreign film for your list of zombie movies to watch over the hiatus. A friend of working just do it so bad it's good French zombie film from 1981. Need more of those.
Yeah, we should do.
Zombie like the plot begins during World War II when town fathers of a provincial village kill some Nazi soldiers and other bodies in the lake. Years later, the undead German arrives from the lake and take after fear on the fear on
get it, fear.
An innocent teen girl befriends one of the zombie soldiers and is strange to discover that he was her father who impregnated her mother before his own death. Highlights of the subtitle bomb include full frontal nudity as late zombie take on scene from traveling girls while balding.
Oh, it's not about that.
Down spoke with pitchforks and a half baked zombie trap scene. Incredibly horrible acting. Worst makeup, green zombie face paint, ending at the jawline. And yes, weird barn sex. In short, it's perfect for Saturday Night Fest and Megan.
Megan?
So yeah, this is the kind of movie that we need to space out. And we have a really solid good one.
Yes.
And then maybe watch this. Especially like this kind of thing when you're like saying, okay, this is gonna be better when we find it.
Yeah, exactly. And I do believe this is something we need to see a group of people.
Oh yeah, we should totally do
Zombie
that.
party.
There's a theater downtown here where Danny and I found but they show movies like that one that just came out recently with Sylvester Stallone and Michael Lundgren and Arnold Schwarzenegger cameo examples, and then they do like music and comedians that hire come talk about live on movies, you know?
Great. Oh, that's so great. Yeah, that'd be fun to do.
I wonder if you and I would be good at that. Actually, wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
But we could try that with this and put it out on Music Theater. Or not.
That's oh my god. I love how you made me read it.
I know,
Taking
huh?
out their fear on the roll town.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind when we're ready for another one of these. Thanks, later. Listen.
Next one's Andy, and the subject line is starting. Hey guys, some food for thought on if a zombie starved to death. Can something already dead starve to death? Good question. I tend to think that if a zombie is dead, then they don't need us as food or nourishment. It is just an instinctual thing. Also good for entertainment. Love the show. Take care, Andy.
This next team loves the same subject, so I'm just gonna move on. This is from Chris. First off, just want to say hello to Joe. He has a little haiku. In a world of death, man must unite to survive or face hell alone. That sounds like the preview saying,
Right.
world of death, man must unite to survive or face hell alone.
Well done. Yeah, that's fair.
In the argument of whether 28, this is interesting. We really trying to figure lots of. In the argument of whether 28 days later is a zombie movie, you have to cite source material for the modern zombie we all love. And for me, that would be Night of the Living Dead, the name of Romero. You must also take into account that the dates on zombies are all fun or nonsense because actual undead zombies do not exist. What? I'm sorry. That being said, let's do this. 28 days later, zombies are not actual zombies. They're normal humans infected by raid virus, which causes them to go crazy and people. They're not actually reanimated corpses. They're not zombies. That's not a movie. Now that is not detracting from the movie in any way. It's a great movie with a great sequel minus super zombie dad. And still, it's making sense to make a zombie movie. It has death, apocalyptic tones, and humans being attacked by mind-altered dead humans. Great movie, not a zombie movie. After zombies starving, they do not starve. And 28 days later, they're not dead, so they're bound by the caveats of life. They have to eat. But in Night of the Living Dead, the reanimated corpses only act on natural instinct to eat. Later in David Dead, they take a zombie and revolves organism still is able to move and exist. Their organs no longer working even when they're removed. They still try to eat. What nourishment can you get from food when none of your organs function?
So basically, as Andy was suggesting, food as entertainment.
Yeah, and most
Much like Pop Rocks.
I mean, they have a hunger for whatever reason, but it's not. It doesn't really do any good to eat.
Andy says it's an instinctual thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't instinctively want to eat people's brains.
I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, I like Oreos or whatever.
Right, I know. Instinctual thing, I just don't really like chocolate. You learned to not my go-to
Yeah.
dessert.
No, so I heard you saying, and I pretty much agree in this ring what I'm saying. Okay, maybe you're not technically zombies, but it still has some of the attracting the zombie movie affecting something. But also, I mean, he says you have to cite source material for the modern zombie that we all love. I don't agree with that necessarily. Like, why?
Yeah.
There are different takes on zombies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In fact, the original zombie is that Haitian drugged out, half alive, but actually alive.
Right.
Person that, these like wizard shaman type guys drug these people and make them all zoned out and they command them to do things.
It's
They're not
voodoo,
undead. Yeah. Those are called zombies.
Right.
So, but
And they're not actually dead, so and they are referred to zombies. So yeah, yes, we get it. I mean, the 28 days later creatures are rage infected humans, but so many guys. I mean, none of those people are dead before they come back. They're not reanimated at all.
I don't think so. But we did see, I think at least last time that one of them had like half of his organs missing or a big chunk out of his.
Right.
So
And they keep going.
yeah, they keep going.
So they're not technically enjoying life as we are.
But I agree. I mean, I think they are alive and infected, and they're more like a living person than they are like a supernatural undead creature.
There's like two categories of zombies. There's the undead, and then there's the infected.
And there's the drugged out.
And there's the voodoo. Voodoo
There's a movie right there. You
Smackdown. We're style wins.
I would say the drugged out ones would be toast because they kind of just roam around.
Yeah, you think? Although I don't know, the Haitian voodoo model.
Yeah, I think the rage virus zombies would win.
For sure, the Haitian voodoo zombies. They're the ones that like you work at factory.
Yeah, you like building
Right.
houses or something.
And stacking bricks.
So you don't know anything about
No,
this. But I still think they do. And I think okay, actually probably undead zombies will win because the rage virus zombies they seem stronger and they you set a group of undead zombies versus rage virus, whatever. The rage virus just rip them all to pieces. But over time, the rage virus creatures will all starve to death or
Because rage virus, they die.
Yeah, and the undead zombies would.
You can only do away with them.
No cockroaches.
Right. Again, good headshot. Remember, folks, good headshot. Yes.
So we won?
Yes, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on to our Deadcast top 5.
Attention shoppers, Vidcast top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right, this week our Deadcast top 5 is our top 5 favorite podcasts of all time.
Which for me, weirdly, don't have anything to do with zombies.
Yeah. Excuse me. I think that's okay because, like I said last time, people who are listening to the show like podcasts probably.
Yeah, exactly.
They're interested in podcasts. We got some emails from people who read podcasts.
Ooh, what did they say?
I'll read those after we do our top 5. But I do before we go into that, actually, I forgot. Last time I messed up and forgot to read the listener emails that gave us top 5 zombie survival rules.
It's amazing that we lasted for 2 weeks without these survival rules.
Well, there was no zombie breakout. So I'm going to read those now. From Harry. Hey guys, what's up? I just want to say I love your show and discussing all things zombies. My first experience with zombies was when my dad brought home 28 days later when I was 10. It freaked me a lot. I would say so. But I became obsessed with zombies. I love the difference of the fast or slow zombies. Anyway, I have a couple rules for surviving Z-Man. 1. No drugs or alcohol. Fighting horde zombies is difficult enough without being tipsy. 2. Calling zombies. It makes life a lot easier.
Yes, you're right.
In James Bond Zombie Apocalypse Future Elementary,
Yeah.
yes, call them zombies.
Nice.
And they say, oh yeah, there's second movies.
You don't have to pretend to go down there. Nice.
Number 3, always tell people about the secret you just found out that you can kill all zombies.
Yes, exactly. Don't just whisper in somebody's ear.
It'll be the last thing you need to know before they become a happy meal. Number 4, when you start packing your bag, remember deodorant. If you're going to know deodorant, then you also get deodorant every once in a while. And number 5, double tap.
Double tap.
Cheers,
Cheers.
Harry.
Thanks, Harry. We agree. I'll double tap.
And then one from Michelle who won our haiku contest a while back. Hello, Jason Karen. This is Michelle. I called in a couple weeks ago and you said my top 5 made you think. Oh wait, this is different. My top 5 made you think of Chevy Chase or zombie. I think you put a compliment. Here's my top 5 rules to follow after the zombie apocalypse. Number 5, sleep in trees when on the move. Get strapped. I'm sorry, keep falling down.
That's good.
Yeah, except for the zombie monkeys.
Only zombie can climb.
Number 4, if possible, just avoid zombies altogether. Stay away from roads and emergencies. Hey, we put that avoid zombies.
Avoid the zombie. By the way, avoid the zombie.
Number 3, pace yourself. When on the move, walk or speed walk. Stop, listen to the horde. When firing a weapon, take your time. You can't all be sharpshooters like Walking Dead cast. Number 2, always have a new weapon in addition to your range weapon, preferably something lightweight like a sword, not a sledgehammer. Let's do it.
What was that? Oh, just
You're
sword pretty heavy though.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
sword pretty heavy. But you know, she brings up a good point. You have to
Think
think
about
about
that. If you're a big beefy guy, you can have a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And one team, never go alone if possible because it's hard to wield a shotgun effectively midstream.
Yeah.
Midstream, get it? Good, thank you.
It's good. Sorry, I didn't get now. I get it.
I get that quicker than you. Okay,
Need to watch back.
yeah, exactly. Let's go on to our top 5 favorite podcasts. We're not doing any more, we're going to just top 5.
That's fine.
I'm just kidding.
I have to six.
Okay, you go first.
Yeah, last podcast with Jane Jack. Now, this is a podcast that I was obsessed with because I was obsessed with Lost. And Jane Jack were for me. They're great. They're actually Jason turned me on them and said they were father and son, and they argue just like father and son. And they're funny and great and they have interesting comments about Lost right now. In fact, they're doing a Lost rewatch from the start.
Shall we tell everyone our real relationship?
Sure, what?
We're friends.
So he thinks. And I have to say, I have a funny Lost story from Lost. I was talking with my dad the other day, and he said, we were talking politics like I was doing, and he at one point said, man is born free and is forever in chains. Who said that? And I said, John Locke. And he said, no. And I said, Rousseau. He said, yes, you're brilliant. Oh my god, I was brilliant. He thought that I just was naming Lost.
Lost You're kidding.
No,
That's
I didn't
hilarious.
tell. I didn't tell.
And you just happened to guess.
I'm like,
And it was Rousseau.
It was Jean Rousseau. Yeah, I remember Rousseau.
Is that her name? Oh, I thought the philosopher was
The philosopher was
Rousseau.
Jean Rousseau. No, maybe Rousseau is actress.
Oh, right. I didn't really think she said it.
funny if you did, though.
Anyway, that's amazing. You never figured out that would happen.
No,
So did
like,
I tell him?
no, of course I didn't. If you bother listen to the podcast, you hear it.
Yeah, no, no,
You know,
you know.
my daughter's not brilliant afterologist, just listen to popular watch television.
That's awesome.
Remember that?
Okay, my number 5 is this podcast called House of Scottish. It's bi-weekly. It's done by these two guys, Al Kennedy and Paul O'Brien. I think they're Scotland, they're Scottish, and they have awesome Scottish accents. And it's all about comic books, and they're really quick. They don't like all around like you know, they get to the point, but they're funny as hell, and they're really smart, and they're super snarky. So if you don't like snarky, you probably don't like them. They just trash everybody in the comics industry.
I like snarky.
But they give all the news of what's going on, and they reviews comics, and then they at the very end they do this segment called Official Handbook of the Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe. And they go in the Handbook of the Marvel Universe and they got some dumb obscure character like Sharkman or something, and they talk about what you'd be like in modern comics, and they make a funny story about it. They're really good.
The favorite second?
House of Scottish.
That's too much. My number 4 is such an NPR geek. Fresh air, there he goes. You know, I went and spent a couple years ago. I spent a couple months in France, and I got kind of homesick for the USA. And the thing that was a real treat every day I went on a run, and I saved a bunch of Fresh Air characters and I put them all on a little iPod, and I listened to it on my run every day. And it was a little bit home, and it made me feel less homesick. So I would have gratitude to characters.
I do that too when I try to like get maybe don't tell me or whatever and listen to it.
Yeah,
remind me of home.
yeah. It's great. You learn so much.
What was your favorite thing about Fresh Air?
The wide, crazy variety of things that talks to each other. You can hear about the economy of Azerbaijan, and you can also hear about Natalie Portman on Fresh Air. Talking about Black Swan. I mean,
You hear about Walking Dead.
or you can hear about she did she do? Was my
She has a couple like David Binkley
Yeah,
and that's the TV guy.
right.
I think he talked about it. I think she probably isn't totally interested in something which I haven't talked about it.
right? So they're secrets. They're secrets.
She's in the jazz, but I don't like the jazz one.
They do. Yeah. That was episode 1.
Yeah, but I do love them too. My number 4 is ever since the last few years I've been becoming more of a political junkie, and I listen to the New Yorker podcast called The Political Scene, which says a weekly discussion about the president of Bill Clinton, Washington Post by New Yorkers, editor of the Opinion, and magazines, Washington Post, Ryan, other contributors, and they just talk about what's happening in politics over the week, how Obama's doing, and they'll sometimes have more conservative people on to for counter with liberals, you know, and it's like half an hour or so, pretty short, so really smart.
Yeah. Well, the New York covers politics in the magazine really well.
I don't read New Yorker that much at all, but
They do really well in magazines. Sometimes they do well in podcasts. Great.
yeah, actually I think this might be one. I don't know if you care about politics that much.
Yeah.
You should check it out, yeah.
Political science, maybe.
Oh, you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's really good.
My number 3 is one that I love. It's no longer around, but I think you can still listen to it. You can go to their website. A couple years ago, it was a couple, Scott and Cheryl, went to Europe, and they decided to do a podcast of their experience of traveling Europe for a year. They sold everything and they put it up, and all they did was travel Europe. And they did this podcast called Year in Europe. And it could have been bad. It could have been if these two weren't interesting, smart, funny, compelling. It would have been, but as it turns out, they were great. And they picked interesting spots to podcast from. They picked like this little cafe in Paris or at the churchyard in London, and they would talk about what their experience was in that town. They stayed in a lot of apartments and they lived in places, and they went all over the place. And it was fascinating. I loved it. I love Europe. I love European culture. So it was really fun to listen to these two talk about it. And they only did it for a year, and then they came back to the United States and they're looking like Portland sailors.
Did you listen to that as a prep for trip or something?
No, I just listened to it. I found it. It was actually really high popular podcast on iTunes, and I just recommended it once. I'll give this a spin, and I got it.
Okay, my number 3 is KCRW's The Treatment.
Oh,
You know that one?
no.
It's awesome. There's this guy, Elvis Mitchell, who posts it. He knows everything about films. He's like seen every film. He's got this kind of soothing voice, but he has directors on usually, sometimes actors and people in the entertainment industry, and he talks about their movies, and it's almost like he's a psychologist. He's like, you know, you got this thing with father figures in your movies, and they're always antagonist or whatever, and the guy will be like, you're right. And he gets into like, and sometimes he comes like, let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm realization about stuff. But he just goes so deep in the movie, and there's one fault about it. Sometimes he'll like have directors from movies that I kind of cheesy or not that good, and they'll still treat it like it's worth all this introspection. You know?
Right.
But it's interesting.
Yeah. He's an NPR guy.
Well, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
KCRW, I guess, is a public radio station in LA, or the NPR affiliate.
I'm sure. I know I've heard the name.
Okay, he's awesome. He has all time. He had David Russell in the Fire. He had Alex Gibney of the documentary Rise and Fall of Ellie Spitzer, and he had cartoon. Was that on cartoons? Who's ever seen a cartoon where guys punch each other in the face and their hand goes all over and like is also real and stuff?
Ooh.
I've got anyway. Lee Unkrich of Toy Story 3, so it covers the gamut.
Yeah.
And, yeah, good stuff.
Okay, my number 2 is WNYC's Radio Lab.
Awesome.
Yeah, you heard it?
I love it. Yeah,
So
this was so hard to make, and Radio Lab is one of the end of the day might have been
Right.
show.
Yeah, so good. Another one where they cover a whole different variety of topics, and it's just wonderful. These two guys who host it are so smart and they're funny, and they get really into the topic. And
Really sciencey.
yeah, often sciencey, not always.
Really?
And they were on hiatus a little bit for the last couple months, so they're back now, and they're putting out new episodes. They have like one of the best shows they had was on choice, and how too much choice messes us up. And
Yeah.
it was great. So there's a whole bunch. So.
And they're so good at editing together. So
Yeah.
like, if you're part of a conversation, then all of a sudden the host will be taking over,
Yeah.
and you're interpolating the conversation, the host will be and they'll stick music in, and it's like an entertaining thing. You also couldn't even hear what they're saying. They didn't speak language.
Yep. Fabulous ending.
Okay, my number 2 is Wait, Don't Tell Me, which I love. I need to have that on your
Yeah.
list. It's a news quiz. I actually, when I first started listening to it, I just kind of liked it. And then I realized that I'm totally addicted.
Yeah.
And I try to guess all the answers, and it helps me out on news I didn't know about. And guess they have 3 guests each week, and they're usually really funny.
Who's your favorite?
All of them.
Yeah,
I think
she's
everybody's
fabulous.
favorite. Yeah, but there's some other good ones. I like Roy Blunt and
Moraka.
Charlie, what's his name?
Charlie Pierce.
Charlie Pierce is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that much, but mostly I like them all.
I love
Peter's
him.
great.
Peter Sickle he's fabulous. I actually can't stand enough about him. Did you read his book?
No.
The Big Advice,
It's weird because Pierce like sounds like this totally nerdy
Yes.
guy, and he wrote the book on swingers.
Not just swingers. He made a big book of advice. So it's about all kinds of things. And even they have
He also wrote a screenplay for Dirty Dancing 2 and
yeah, he talks about that in the book. Yeah, he's just wonderful. He's just so funny. And he takes any crunchy moment and turns it into something great. I mean, they have some boring people on the show, and he can pull out funny things from boring people.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I have actually I don't want to play that show. Here we go.
This is Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. I'm Carl Castle. We're playing this week with Paul Poundstone, White Jr., and Lou Rocca. Here is your host, Chicago Public Radio, Peter Sagal.
Thank you, Carl. Now it's time to game where panelists lie to you. What's to play our game on the air? Hi, what's up?
Hi, this is Sharon from California. I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, you sound beautiful today.
It is indeed. It's sunny. Gorgeous here.
You're beautiful and beautiful here.
I am a water conservation specialist in America.
Really? I think I help every day.
We never have enough beer. I tell you.
Okay, and then what are your big ideas for concerning what?
We encourage local toilets around here.
Really?
We have very glamorous.
Really?
Why do you do that as a job, though?
Here, we need 5 seconds. Nationwide life. Go. Make the case for local toilets now.
State wine is a great thing. What can I tell you? Drink wine, not beer, not water.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, I hate you. Oh my God.
This is what Brothers and Chapels do.
You didn't play. You could at the ending though.
I thought it was
I made a funny laugh. But no, I sound like a crackhead there.
I don't think it's really against wrong. Anyway,
Thanks.
people do that.
That's you. Oh my God.
So, how was that?
I can't believe you found that. It was great. I mean,
was a while ago.
it was you don't have an audience before they used to do
I didn't know that.
shortly after they decided they needed a live audience. I think it's actually improved by live audience.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I like it.
I remember when we were on there, I was really excited. That was cool.
I was really excited. And they sent me as a consolation prize a pack of NPR playing cards.
Was that
I do. It's really funny. I really want to call Castle's voice on my answering machine, and I'm pissed off today that I have it.
Right, you know what? I called. I ever did that. I thought, oh, you just called me on.
Yeah.
And I called back and they didn't call me on.
Really?
It's like a few months ago.
You gotta do that.
I like you.
I like them. In fact, I like them so much. My number 1 podcast.
Ooh,
Yeah,
you're on.
that was my number 1. And Baby Tell Me is at some point always control. Even that and by the way, Jason and I, and people we all went and saw Baby Tell Me live. That was great. It was in Berkeley, and we hadn't seen one of the episodes.
That means usually they're about the current news, but every once in a while they're doing some topic like history or whatever.
Technology.
Yeah, and so they can play when everyone's on vacation.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, so they were still
It was great. They had that was Michael What's it from the writer of Michael Holland.
Yeah.
It was great.
Okay, well, my
Number
number 1 is This American Life, which is the number 1 podcast on iTunes usually, and except when we work for a week. I'm just kidding. We never have, but there, it's amazing. If you don't know about it, I wonder if maybe you don't. But if you don't, it's this guy Howard Glassing has a bunch of brilliant producers, and they just go out and find stories from everyday Americans in interesting situations, and usually you're either laughing or moved in some way, and it's really artfully done. It's got some more vibes of Radio Lab. They get into the pacing and the editing, the pauses and things like that in music. But it's more. It's better, I think. It's just really good. And if I told you what it's about, like, you know, the story about an underglow or something, you're like, that's gonna be listen to really get it. But I hope that show's on forever.
I do. They did the television version of NPO for a while. I don't know if they're still doing it.
No, 2 seasons.
Did you ever catch this?
Yeah, they were good, but not as good. I mean, they were really good, but not as good as the show.
So we also Hourglass do American Life. Also, no, sorry, just Hourglass at in Liberty, at the Liberty. He started it out by coming on stage and the stage was dark. So he came out, he was sort of backlit, but he was him. And so we sat down and at a desk on stage and it's still dark. And he said, "Where's the effect of radio is the most visual medium?" And I never got that. I completely agree. I will say that I love listening to podcasts. I love listening to video because I can illustrate it in my head. You know, I don't need television to show me pictures of what's going on. I almost prefer it in my noggin.
Right, and we're gonna start doing a video version of Walking Dead cast. Yeah, and that's just like a whispering in your ear.
Yeah.
You know? Like I used to listen to Howard Stern a lot, and it had a certain coolness to it. Then you actually saw how ugly they all are, and you see a video of them, it's like,
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that my horns and tail would really go well with a video.
I think that your one arm would be good though.
You do. You gotta get a video after the show.
Okay, but you have 6 on that. 6 one.
That was the next one. Yeah, that's right.
I wrote a few honorable mentions. Last podcast, Jane Jack. No, I'm doing. Last podcast, Jane Jack. At first, I thought it was a little like content lighter, or like analysis. Like they do analysis. I think they do more videos.
Yeah,
but some of the podcasts were very intricate.
Well, the thing is, Lost lends itself to a lot of analysis because it's a mystery. Yeah, and really, The Walking Dead is a mystery.
No, it's not mystery. That's true. But I ended up being my favorite Last podcast because I like their vibe a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Leo Port's Network Weekly, I love. Some of you know that. I also listen to Leo Port's Windows Weekly for Counterpoint. Fresh Air, Radio Lab, Word Balloon is a really good comics podcast for you guys are into comics. He's got all the top creators on there, and he'll do like sometimes about 3 hours with just one guy answering questions from listeners. He's got Bendis on there this week. Gamefly writes Amazing Spider-Man. So that's good. You know, comics, he asks all the questions. And another little podcast from the New York Times. I like a lot. And this week, I'm not going to forget to read the listeners, the podcast they send in. So this one's from Bob. Hello, Jason Karen. Great fan of your show. And this is my first email to a podcast. I'm so nervous. But my top 5 podcast list is number 5, The Walking Dead Cast. Podcast dedicated to The Walking Dead. Number 4, The Walking Dead Podcast. What? No, number 3, The Walking Dead. Number 4, Behind the Screen Door. Oh, and he doesn't say anything about these, so I should look up. Number 3, Spill.com. Heard of that? Number 2, The Armstrong and Getty Show.
Armstrong and Getty. Hey, you guys?
They sound like
Yeah,
it. And number 1, We're Live, Zombie Story of Survival, which we have heard about from several listeners, and I keep saying listen to it. I should. What I've heard sounds pretty good, so I gotta check it out.
Great, thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. And one more from Chris. Top 5 podcasts. These are mostly gaming podcasts. And everyone knows you guys are great, so that's why you were on the list.
Aw.
Thanks, I think. Number 1, IGN podcast, beyond all about PS3 and other gaming news. That's cool. That's one thing my interesting games kind of waxes and wanes, and I haven't getting interesting games to check out. Giant Bombcast, great all around video game news. Tested, which is tech. IGN Keeping It Real, which is movies. I wonder if I like it. And interestingly, number 5 is We're Live. This you'll love. This is the same one that was the one. This you'll love. If you haven't heard it, it's rated on about zombies with voice actors and sound effects. It's great.
Nice, thanks.
And one more. This is from your friend Don.
Yeah.
You want to read it?
Yes, I do. Hello, Jason Karen. New podcast was up. I was actually been reading a slice before listening to your spoilers discussion chapters. Very great for that. Thanks. Black Sheep was really fun. For fans of movie horror, I recommend Thanks Killing. I see a little bit of films starring in local nest with Turkey.
We're getting a reputation here.
So bad, it's genius. Should be all the time. You know, I think perfect. How do you run with time like gobble motherfucker? Gobble motherfucker. That's so great. That sounds awesome. That sounds great. Okay, so here's the top 5 podcasts. 1, This American Life. This is the podcast. All podcasts aim to be smart, emotionally engaging storytelling, get nervous points, game, and 2, all songs considered. Most of the new music I listened to last few years is thanks to Bob Willen and friends. Wow, that's great. Yeah. Number 3 is stuff you should know. They cover everything from Purple Physics to Scooby-Doo. After a few more years of Josh and Chuck, and I should know everything. No, this is great. 4, The Walking Dead Cast. Oh, all right, let's be honest. You're in the same room as I'm class. We do the Fresh Air. Oh no, we don't. Is that accurate? I have a New Walking Dead Cast running Fresh Air. I'm going to listen to. I'm going to choose The Walking Dead Cast. Besides, the getting more mentioned on the podcast. You're going to be out of control. Yeah, exactly. She's there wearing her 5, Fantasy Focus Football. This is a 2-time podcast award winner. Yes, I'm a true dork. Fantasy Focus Football. I don't know what that's about.
They didn't know.
You might know. Hi, sweetheart. Honorable mentions. The report everything from sports and Madden 2 hours on Lost Finale. Wow. And KEXP Sunday free music downloads. Fabulous. Thank you for writing in.
Cool. Yeah, thanks. All right, let's move on to this week's zombie report.
Okay, I have really one story. It's a good one. It's a really good one. I keep waiting for like stories about real life zombie shenanigans. And I just
Have you gotten your first story?
yes.
That kind of stuff isn't
I'm not finding out. Checking out. I find out things in the media about who's doing what remake. Well, this one's actually of that genre, but it's a pretty good one. Danny Boyle is redoing Frankenstein.
Cool.
I know, right? And
Yeah.
it's the title is Danny Boyle Frankenstein should be monster hit. Danny Boyle has always been drawn to keep life streams, where the Scottish drug addict Frankenstein survives zombie apocalypse 20 years later, or the Mumbai street children fighting for survival in Slumdog Millionaire. So it's apt that for this his return to the era 15 years teaches Frankenstein Mary Shelley's horror tale about a science becoming the god by creating life and a monster who is fully human. At heart, especially in Nick Deer's paradigm script, is an elemental fable. Victor Frankenstein makes a man in his own image, only to discover he has created a beast. But is the monster his creation or himself? Well, for London's National Theatre have two great strengths. It's visually stunning and it has mesmerizing central performances by Benedict Cumberbatch and Johnny Miller. Oh, Johnny Miller.
It's already filmed?
And sorry, it's not a film, it's a theater production.
Oh.
Yeah, for London's National Theatre, which is an amazing place.
Is it filmed already?
It says it is, and he just started. But Johnny Miller is pretty amazing. Oddly, he's married to Angelina Jolie, and he was in a Viking movie I loved. But yeah, he's a English actor. He takes turns playing roles of Frankenstein and his creature. It's inspired by the two. Bunch of filmmakers have done body and James Franco half hours has created a show with great visual. Oh wait, did you see Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Was it great?
Yep. It was hard to watch. He's got a guy.
Half hours with a knife that is not sharp.
Not even that, but the whole movie he's in there. So when he's hanging out with he's just kind of stuck behind a rock. You think that would be not entertaining, but it was really great.
Wow,
But
I really want to see it.
intense, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I read about his story in Outside Magazine. I've been so fascinated
Yeah,
by it. Yeah, I like stories about survival in extreme circumstances. Not doing it.
And now he's this one guy and he still climbs and does all these extreme things and stuff.
Damn. Well, you can get Cosmo Morgan.
He's right. That's interesting. That's the bonus side. If he gets right again, that's it. Oh, yes, it's a very funny tale.
Moving on.
Actually, that's it. So we're going to
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's our show, episode 26. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks.
I want to give a shout out to Mr. Blog. That's Mr. BLAHG.com. He wrote in and let us know about the site and checked out there's a lot of in-depth reviews and opinions on things like movies, TV, zombies, Lost, other podcasts, and all kinds of stuff like that. Pretty good stuff.
Check it out.
Contest update. We have 68 reviews, so no new great effective ways this week. We'll get a couple more. We'll give away one more. I also just want to mention, if you don't feel like writing a review and you haven't found it, you can just go and rate us. You can do a star rating, not a review, not account. But anyway, if you want to win, you also need to send us a Billy. I do.
Which is kind of easy. 5 syllables, 10 syllables, 5 syllables. That's
And
not bad. Yeah, how is that? Go.
And last time I mentioned that we were going to have one guys on the show, so we've gotten some ideas from a few of you. I'm really happy that you're sending those in. Continue to do it if you have an idea for the show, send it to us. I think by the next episode we'll pick one, so we've got some time if you want to do that. Our next episode, if everything pans out, we'll have Max. Ballier. Anyway, he's the writer of Things Survive the Zombie Apocalypse, and we'll have him on and interview him and have him do that cast 5. And if it doesn't pan out, we'll think some.
That's right.
And our cast 5 giveaway, our 5 favorite ways to kill a zombie or see a zombie die.
I got to list my head.
Don't worry.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, exactly.
So if you'd like to give us a call, you can call us 650-45-45-333.
You can email us at brains@walkingdeadcast.com.
You can check out our website, needcomments@walkingdeadcast.com.
We're also at twitter.com/JasonKaren, or you can find us on Facebook, 34 Walking Dead Cast.
All right, that's our show.
Thanks for listening. Don't
Don't
get
get
it.
a movie.
And don't get it.
It's hard to remember now, but the internet used to be fun.
I can't believe how easy it is to search that.
On Long Shadow, Breaking the Internet, we'll trace how Tool once fueled democracy.
Politician activist, organized mob on Facebook.
Begin with 17 at the very heart. You're watching the unraveling of our democracy right now. From Lonely and PRS, this is Long Shadow, Breaking the Internet. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Rick Beck, and I'm Royce Yepov. Welcome to our Chart Topping podcast from Harvard Business School. Think big, buy small. This series lets you learn a special way to become an entrepreneur. How to buy your own business, be your own boss, and get financial benefits of your efforts. Entrepreneurship through acquisition involves searching for existing, enduringly profitable, smaller business and buying it, usually from a retiring founder. Back for a brand new season, our conversations with guests from all backgrounds and different stages of the entrepreneurship through acquisition journey. And those considering what it is has to wait for them, all the way through those who have sold businesses they bought to search